Hey, what's going on? Dr. Gonzo Boogie here again, back for another DVD and VHS update video. And I also have some comic books that I was going to show at the end of this video too. But in this video, I was just going to show you guys the DVDs and VHS tapes that I picked up in the past 2 weeks. And I have some really awesome stuff here, so I'm excited to get this video going. So I'm just going to start here with the DVDs like usual. First up here, I have Frogs on DVD, and do I really need to say any more than that? But this is the movie about killer frogs. I've never seen this or anything about it. I've never seen the trailer or anything, but I'm guessing this is probably cheesy and fun. But since this movie was made in the 70s, I know they actually probably used really real frogs in this. So it'll probably be interesting to watch anyways. But I picked this one up used for real cheap, and it's in real good condition. Came with the insert and everything. So frogs. Next up is Dracula vs. Frankenstein, which this is the movie from 1971. There's actually a couple Dracula vs. Frankenstein movies, but this is the one that I think is the most popular. And I've actually never seen this, but I've seen Cinemassacre's review on it a couple times. I'll probably leave a link for that in the description of this video in case anybody's a little bit more curious about this movie. But this movie is real cheesy, straight up B movie as much as you can get. But I thought it would be fun to watch anyways. And this is the actual last film that Lon Chaney Jr. ever appeared in. There's a photo of him holding a girl, and he's holding like an axe in his hand or something like that. But I don't know. I always wanted to check this one out. It seemed like, even though it's a cheesy and probably horrible movie, it still seems like it might be some fun. So looking forward to this. This is actually the newer release of this by Shriek Show, and this is the first time this had ever been remastered. This is the first time this movie's ever been remastered on DVD or anything like that, so that's pretty cool. Dracula vs. Frankenstein. Alright, next up here I actually have a small stack of Roger Corman films. I actually ordered these from oldies.com, which, if anybody knows, they specialize in the Alpha Video DVD releases, which they're budget DVDs that release a lot of the public domain horror titles and just public domain movie titles in general. But I've always kind of liked Alpha Video. I always felt like they did a pretty good job on their releases, and I like the artwork, and the quality on their transfers are usually okay, even though they're not anything close to a high definition quality transfer, but they're about the same as a good VHS copy of the movie, and that's good enough for me with some of these cheaper movies you can get in these public domain ones. But they were having a deal where you can get 5 of their movies for $17, 5 of their Alpha Video ones. So I ordered 5 of the Roger Corman titles that they have underneath the Alpha Video title, so I'm pretty excited to get these because I've never seen a lot of these earlier Roger Corman films. But first off, we have She Gods of the Shark Reef, and this is a film directed by Roger Corman. Really cool. Like I said, never seen this one. I like the cover art on this though. Good stuff. Probably some cheesy fun here. Next up, we got The Wasp Woman, another film directed by Roger Corman. Again, never seen this one, but, this is one of those ones that you always see on those, 50 horror movie packs or 100 horror movie packs. So this is one that I'm sure a lot of you have seen, but I've actually never seen this one before, I don't think. And then The Last Woman on Earth, which this is sort of known as one of Roger Corman's worst movies, but I figured I would check it out anyways. I think I've actually seen this one years ago, back when I used to have one of those 50 horror movie packs, but it's been probably 10 years since I've seen this one, and I don't remember anything from it at all. Again, pretty cool cover art on this one. It's one of the things I kind of like about the Alpha Video releases is their artwork is pretty nice in my opinion. And then Creature from the Haunted Sea. This is a classic Roger Corman right here. This is, I guess, a comedy. I've never seen this one either, but at the top says Roger Corman's outrageous comedy. But it looks cool from the back of this. Sounds like it's basically a spoof on a lot of the horror movies that were coming out around the time this movie came out, which was 1961. Creature from the Haunted Sea. And then last for my Roger Corman pickups, it's actually one of my favorite movies that has Roger Corman's name connected to it, Dementia F13. This was actually directed by Francis Ford Coppola, but Roger Corman produced this one, and it's kind of a Psycho ripoff, but in my opinion, I think it's a really good movie on its own, and it's actually one of my favorite Roger Corman productions. This and Death Race 2000 are my two favorite Roger Corman productions. Really happy to finally get a separate DVD copy of this. Really nice. Alright, next up here we have this is one of those Full Moon Grindhouse collections. The Full Moon's been putting a lot of these out. I noticed a bunch in FYE, but I picked this one up because it came with a film called Film Gore, which is actually just I would say almost not really a documentary on slasher movies because it doesn't really give you any information or anything, and it's not about the history of the genre at all, but it highlights slasher, like different gore movies and different slasher movies. It's kind of like that Boogeyman movie, if anyone ever rented that in the 90s, that had all the horror icons on the front, like Jason and Leatherface. It's kind of like that, where it just shows clips from different slasher movies. But the reason I bought this one is because it's hosted by Elvira. I don't know if you can read that there, Film Gore. Hosted by Elvira, and it's just really awesome because basically what this is she hosts like 4 or 5 of these slasher movies, but they have them cut down, so they're only like a half hour long. Like they show Driller Killer in this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and a couple other just really horrible, like shitty slasher movies and gore movies. And the only thing cool about this really is Elvira, because I hate how they cut the movies, even with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I feel like they cut a lot of stuff out, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't even that gory of a film. It doesn't have that much blood in it. I mean, it's a violent film, and it may be disturbing to some people, but it's not that gory of a film. So I thought it was kind of odd that that was thrown in there, especially since it was thrown in with a bunch of real shitty slasher movies. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think, is a really well done horror film, so I didn't really think it quite deserved to be in this, but it was cool that Elvira hosted this. And it's cool because, you know, basically if you ever watch a show, the movie Macabre Show, or anything she does, she hosts the movie, and she introduces it and gives an outro on it, and in between does some skits. And since this movie Film Gore has like 4 or 5 slasher movies cut down really short in it, you get a lot of Elvira for the price. Like each movie's cut down to about 25 minutes, a half hour, and she pops up usually every couple minutes. She makes a little joke about the movie, so it's really cool. And she had some like costumes and funny outfits on in some of the segments. So definitely would recommend this for an Elvira fan. And this came out in the 80s too, so it's just classic Elvira. But also on this pack, it came with another movie that is in the same. It's like a clip show movie called Zombie-thon. And then the last feature on here is called Savage Island, which is an actual movie with Linda Blair in it, which I've never seen or heard of. But the poster on the back makes it look pretty interesting. There it is with Linda Blair there, who's best known for being in The Exorcist. So I picked this up mainly for the Elvira, which I already watched and was really good. It was really long. It was almost like 2 hours long, and most of the slasher movies they were showing were not that good and kind of boring. So really the only thing that kept me watching throughout the whole thing was Elvira. She saved it like she does with all the other shitty movies she hosts. So really cool right here. Definitely recommend this if you're an Elvira collector like myself. Right, and here for the DVDs. Last, I got 2 more DVDs to show here. This is Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is actually the full screen edition of this. I picked this up because I liked the little slipcase it was in. I got it for really cheap, and I actually needed another copy of Predator because the 2 discs that I bought recently, if anybody remembers me showing it in one of my videos, the case was broken, so I've been trying to get a new copy. So I finally picked up a new copy, and I didn't notice until I got it home, but it was the full screen edition, which I would rather have the widescreen edition for a couple different reasons. But, I'm sort of happy with it anyways, but now I still have to pick up another copy of Predator eventually. Good stuff right here. I actually talk a little bit more about the Predator series and this movie in the video I posted up last week, which is about my Alien and Predator collection. I show all my Alien and Predator DVDs and VHSs, but I also give reviews on all the movies. So if you want to check that out, you can. I'll put a link for that in the description of this video too. Predator. Then last year for the DVDs this is the first X-Files movie, Fight the Future. Sorry about that. And I have not seen this yet. I've actually seen the more recent X-Files movie. I watched it with my dad when it first came out, but I'd never seen this one, I don't think, unless I watched it on TV years ago and just don't remember. But I've been really getting big into the X-Files lately. I just finished season 1, which was great. So many awesome episodes on that season. Just one of the coolest shows I've ever seen, really. I just love it. So I picked this up because I found it for cheap. But I plan to pick up more of the seasons because this came out a little bit later into the X-Files. So I want to pick up maybe like seasons 2, 3, and 4 or whatever before I watch this one. Actually, I'm not quite sure which season this movie came out during or after. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments if they know more about this than me. But looking forward to checking this one out anyways, because X-Files is just the shit. So, awesome. Alright, next up I have a pretty nice stack of tapes right here. This is She-Wolf of London, which is a Universal Monster movie. And this is actually one of my favorites out of the ones they did in the 30s. I mean, the best are definitely Dracula and Frankenstein, but I've always really liked this one too, She-Wolf of London. Just a really good movie all around. Just good stuff. I've actually never seen this series of Universal Monster tapes. It's called Universal Horror Classics. I'm sure there's more in this line that you can buy, but I've actually never seen this tape series before, so that's pretty cool, because mostly I just try to collect the classic monster collection on tape, but anytime I see a cool Universal Monster movie on tape, I pick it up anyways. So really cool on this. Glad to find this one, only for like $1, I think. Alright, and then this was a really cool tape that I had some problems with, which I'll talk about in a minute, but this is a like horror action movie, late 80s straight to video movie called Headhunter, and this just looked awesome. I mean, you got that dude holding a samurai sword, demon guy. You know, you got that demon face in the background, black magic, pure terror, just everything about this sound cool. I guess it's kind of like a buddy cop film with a male and female cop, and they have to like fight this evil spirit, this evil force that I guess came down from Africa or something. I don't know. It's just something they say on the back for this. But this looked like a cool movie. I bought this for $1. I looked this up on eBay, and it's actually going for like $20-30, and it's hard to find it on DVD. I'm actually not sure if there's a real DVD release of this movie, but I know the tape is kind of expensive. But I actually had some problems with this when I went to watch it. The tape at the beginning was kind of like folded over a little bit, and I hadn't noticed, and when I put it in my VHS player, it got stuck, and I actually had to unplug my VHS player, unscrew the top, open it up, and get the tape out that way. It didn't ruin the tape. Like, the tape is still, it didn't really get destroyed when I took it out, but it's still folded over, so I can't figure out how to fix the tape to watch this. So I haven't been able to watch this yet, so I'm really disappointed about that. But one of these days I'm going to try to figure something out and see if I can get this tape to work. Headhunter. Alright, next up is the classic Stephen King movie, Maximum Overdrive on tape. And I've always wanted this on DVD or tape. I've just never been able to find it, so I'm really glad that I found this. Found it for $1 at a thrift store, and this tape goes for a little bit more than that. I've seen it going for about $10-20, something like that on eBay. This movie in general is just kind of hard to find. The DVD releases are all sort of expensive. I'm actually not sure if it's out on Blu-ray yet, and most of the tape releases for this movie are expensive too. And this is just a cool movie. This is actually directed by Stephen King, and I think this is the only movie he ever directed, if I remember right. And it has an AC/DC soundtrack, which you can't get cooler than that. I mean, I'm not the biggest AC/DC fan, but they're a cool band. I mean, how can you not like AC/DC? And, just a fun movie. I've seen this movie before, but I've never owned it, so I'm really glad. I know there's an Anchor Bay DVD of this that is out of print, goes for a lot of money, so one day I hope to get that, but till then, I'm happy to just have this on tape now. Maximum Overdrive, Stephen King. Right, and last for the horror tapes that I picked up, this is The Addiction, and this is a vampire movie with Christopher Walken in it, which is why I picked it up, because Christopher Walken's the man, and I like vampire movies too. This is from the early 90s, actually I think it might be from 96, that's the only date that they have on the back of this, but it's actually black and white, it says, so this movie was shot in black and white or something like that. But it sounded interesting, and again, this tape is kind of rare. I looked it up on the computer after I got home. Bought this again at the thrift store for $1. Seemed interesting, so I took a chance on it. And when I got home, I checked it on eBay, and it was going for like 20 bucks. So, you know, again, I got a good deal on, you know, a horror movie that's kind of hard to find because, again, you can't get this one on DVD, and tape is somewhat hard to come by. So I always like when I find horror movies like that on tape. Really cool. The Addiction right here. Never seen it, so I don't know what it's all about, but it looks cool. Alright, and then last for the VHS tapes, I have a little stack of some of the early Power Ranger tapes they put out, and these I've been wanting to get. All these. These are just awesome looking tapes, and I definitely had these when I was a kid and everything, and I have one of them. I actually have the one for the Black Ranger, which is like Zach's birthday or something like that, but I didn't have these three, and they had all of them at a thrift store, so I picked these three up. This is Day of the Dumpster. This is actually the first episode of Power Rangers, so definitely a cool tape to own. Really awesome artwork on these. That's one of the best things about these older Power Rangers tapes. It's just the artwork on the front is just really awesome. I mean, I would hang a poster of that up on my wall. I mean, that's some badass stuff right there. You know, and I love how they show the, like, transformation type thing at the bottom. Just really, really cool stuff. Love this. Picked up the one for the Yellow Ranger. This is episode 2, I think. This is High Five. Again, pretty cool artwork on this. I don't think as nice as the Red Ranger one, but still nice stuff anyways. Then last up for the Power Ranger tapes is I picked up the one with the Pink Ranger, which is really awesome. Love the Pink Ranger. This is No Clowning Around. And this is an episode that takes place at a carnival type thing or circus thing, if I remember right. And I just remember this episode being a little wacky and weird, so just really fun Power Ranger stuff here. You got the like weird, creepy clown that's in this episode. Like, he is straight up creepy. If you had not seen this episode before, this clown is creepy. And, yeah, again, great artwork on this. Love that. She's kicking the weird clown monster thing, whatever that is. I can't even remember now from the episode, but good stuff right here. Awesome. Alright, and that was it for the tapes and the DVDs. But like I said, I have a couple comic books I want to show. If you see my last update, I mentioned that I went to a comic book store called My Mother Threw Mine Away, which is an awesome comic book store. One of the coolest stores like that in the area I live in. And I picked up some Blade Runner and 2001 comics there, but last time I was there, I was looking around at what he had, and I found some Elvira comics. And like you already know from talking about the Elvira DVD I got, I'm a huge Elvira fan. I love collecting Elvira stuff. She's just so collectible. She's got posters, DVDs, tapes. You can get CDs, records, cassettes with her, and you know, comic books, action figures. Just if you're a fan of Elvira, it's just non-stop the amount of stuff you can buy with her, stand-ups and everything, just awesome stuff. But I found these Elvira comic books. These were put out from by DC in the 80s, and these are just awesome. These were $4 each, and I picked up 6 of them. There was like 7 or 8 of them there. My buddy Mike picked one up too. He's also into collecting Elvira stuff. And I'll show you guys the covers on all these because they're really cool. This is issue number 2. This is Elvira's House of Mystery, and I actually read one of these almost all the way through. I never got around to finishing it, but these are basically anthology comics. It has like 2 or 3 horror or sci-fi or fantasy related stories, and in between them it has little skits with Elvira, so it's really cool stuff right here. Basically just like your regular horror anthology comic, but just with Elvira, so really cool. Got like a samurai theme going on with this one or something. Awesome. Alright, next up is issue number 3. Got some Western stuff going on here. Just really cool cover art. I love older comic books, the artwork, everything from the 80s all the way down to the beginning of comics. I just think they look great. 90s comics had a interesting look to them too, but everybody had like too many pouches and was like way too muscular and strong. Just an awkward era for comic books, the 90s, but you know, this stuff just looks great. The artwork on these. This is issue number 4. Love the cover on this one. Really cool. Issue 8. Got the Statue of Liberty thing going on. Probably something to do with like a 4th of July type story in here, maybe. Something like that. And then this one right here, which is issue 9, which I think is the coolest one of all. This one was actually $5. They were all 4, but this one was 5. And this is it. There's actually a sticker on this that says this is the only photo cover in the series, so I'm guessing that's why it was more money. But it's just, this is just awesome. It has like a punk rock, like Sex Pistols thing going on with the cutout words and everything. I love the yellow background, how Elvira is like black and white. I just think it looks really cool. Just a very, very appealing comic book cover to me. One of my favorite comic book covers I think I've ever seen. Again, I would love to get like a poster of this on my wall. Just great stuff right here. This is issue 9. And then I got issue 10. Looks like Elvira is teaching some school. I would love to have Elvira as my teacher, but I probably would not be able to pay attention to what she's trying to teach me. But there's some cool stuff right here again. Just awesome. Really happy to find these. And I forget how many are in the series. I think my friend Mike said there's like 12 of these in the series or something like that. Like one of them's like a special Christmas comic. But eventually I would love to get all these. Of course, issue 1 is the most expensive and hardest to find, but that'll be the one that I'll try to get off the computer or something like that. So really cool here. And then very last for this video, I just will show you guys this. I picked up the book adaptation of the Alien film. I found this at a thrift store for like $1. I always like to pick up these book adaptations of movies that I love. It's cool to read them sometimes and see you know, what's different or you know, a little bit new in these that might be different than the actual movie themselves. So really cool here, Alien book. I actually talk a little bit more about this and again about the whole Alien series in the video I posted up last week where I talk about my whole Alien Predator collection. So again, I'll put a link for that below if anybody wants to check that out. But really cool right here. Love the cover on this. Really nice. But that was the update for this week, and like always, hope you guys liked it, and if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and see you guys later.